Hey everyone, welcome to my 5-day, 7-day free challenge on fitting fitness into a busy life. And so we're going to help you see that taking time for yourself is better than not taking time for yourself. And you don't need to feel guilty in taking time for yourself. See if I can adjust here to get the glare off. There we go. Okay, scoot over. So you don't have to feel guilty about that, but let me just back up for just a second. For those of you who are new, haven't been following me for a little bit, just don't know that much about me, I am Lisa. I am your health and wellness coach, and I know firsthand the importance of taking care of yourself. Because if you can't fill your own cup, you're not going to be able to fill others. But more importantly, if you don't have those systems in place for a morning routine that allows you to take care of yourself and gives you that extra 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of alone time and just to fill yourself, you're not going to be able to be as productive and energetic and to fill other people's lives. So let me explain as I try to keep glares off the phone. Sorry. So before I had these systems in place, I was very snooze, hit the snooze, hit the snooze, hit the snooze, hit the snooze, get up at the last minute, rush around, right? I was always chasing the day. And because I was chasing the day, I was also harping on everybody else in my household about hurry up, let's go, let's go, let's go. We need to get out the door, and pushing and pushing. And it just made for stressful, frustration, all of the things. And so then when you get to work, you're already stressed out, frustrated. And so then work just becomes another frustrating day, right? Once I got these systems in place, and I did it little by little, it wasn't boom, I've got a morning routine. Like, it developed and changed in the years. Okay. So it's not a one and done. It's going to evolve and change, and you're going to see this is working, this isn't working, let's change it up. It's going to be a work in progress. It's not going to be something that you're going to find is going to hit you right away. So once I put those routines in place and I started being more proactive in my morning, that allowed me to be more calm, have more energy, and not have to rush around for myself, nor did I have to rush anybody else in the house around to get them out the door. So it was very calming and less frustrating, less stressful. And by the time I got to work, I was not stressed when I arrived at work. Now, did this day stress you out? Yeah, there's always going to be that stressful time. But I have some tips and tricks in this 7 days of how you can effectively handle stress at work. And it's going to take that mindset to be able to do it. We're also going to talk about some workouts that you can do either at work. Yes, you can work out at work without busting a sweat and all of those things. So we're going to talk about those things in this as well. So today we're going to talk about the 5 things that you can do, or the three to 5 things that you can do right now to set you up for a better day, a better morning, and to give you that time that you need, right? So this is going to help you find time for yourself, again, without the feeling guilty. It will also give you those simple tips and practices that you can start today with no extra time or energy needed. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's how we use those 24 hours that matter, right? So let's see here. Sorry, I have notes, so I'm making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so the 5 things that you can do right now. Let me get to that section because I kind of got these out of order on myself. There we go. So there's a lot. I get asked often, what should I do for a more productive day? That honestly depends on how you want to feel in the morning. Personally, I want to feel empowered, energized, productive, determined, committed, and fearless. Like, those are a lot of things, right? But I feel that way because of the practices that I put into place. So how you want to feel in the morning is your first step. Like, you need to think about how you're wanting to feel. But more importantly, you also need to think about, okay, this is how I want to feel in the morning. So you start with how you want to feel in the morning, and then you have to backtrack to, what do I need to do in the evening to set me up for that in the morning? Because what you do in the evening is going to affect what you do in the morning. So if you don't go to bed at a reasonable time, so I try to be in bed by 10 o'clock. Let's say you go to bed, and that doesn't always happen. A lot of times it's later than that, but I try to be in bed by 10. If you're not in bed until midnight, 1 or 2, but yet you have to get up to be at work at 8 o'clock, and so you push it to the last minute, that's not setting yourself up for a good morning, right? You've got to set yourself up for a good morning by what you do in the evening. So what can you do right now to set yourself up for a good morning? You start with your evening routine. I try to use the 3-2-1 method, and I'm going to explain that here. So you think about, okay, what time do I need to get up in the morning? How many hours do I need to get to sleep? Or how many hours do I need of sleep to function well in the morning? So what time does that mean that I need to be in bed? Now this is, what time do I need to be in bed, not necessarily what time do I need to fall asleep. Because if you're crawling into bed when you want to be asleep, you're not going to be asleep at that time, right? So what I try to do, and I will admit this doesn't always work for me just because of the different things that I have going on in my evening, but this is my method that I use 99% of the time. Okay, so 3 hours before the time you want to go to bed, stop eating. So you don't eat anything 3 hours before you want to go to bed. And that's when you crawl into bed, when you're getting into the covers, and right? So 3 hours. So that's the 3 of the 3-2-1 method. So 3 hours before bed, nothing to eat. 2 hours before the time you go to bed, you stop doing any work. So if you work from home, or you bring work home, or you have a side hustle, whatever it is, you stop working those last 2 hours of the day the last 2 hours before you want to go to bed. And this allows you to just kind of release the day. So what do you do in those 2 hours? The time frame is really up to you. You can watch TV, you can hang out with your spouse or your kids, or just whatever. Okay. Go for a walk in the evening, even if it's just walking around your house because you don't live in a safe area or somewhere where you can walk on the sidewalks. It's too dark to do that. So sometimes if it's nice out, I will just go for a walk. Not always, but so 2 hours before bedtime, just stop doing work. And then an hour before bedtime, turn off all screens. So that means the TV, your phone, your tablet, your computer. Turn it off, put it away, put it on do not disturb mode, whatever. Just let it go. That's an hour before you go to bed. So what can you do in that hour of time frame? What I do, and this doesn't mean this is what you have to do, I'm just telling you what I do to kind of help give you some ideas of what you can do in this hour. I pick up a book. Now, this is a book that is either a personal development book. Most of the time, that's what I read is personal development. You can listen, or sometimes I will put on a podcast or a meditation. So I will listen. I won't look at my phone, but I will have that playing on a headset. So you can do a meditation, and that kind of just relaxes you. The other thing that you can do is some light stretches, a little bit of restorative yoga, something like that. And that does take, yes, I know, before you say it, that takes a screen. Yes, it does. But that's a little different because you are winding down. You need to wind down in that hour before bed. So you don't want to be playing games on your phone because that stimulates your brain and it doesn't wind you down. Okay, so how does that work? So how does this work? So you set a time to go to bed. You try to keep the same time each night. And sometimes that may not work because of different activities you have to do, but you try to keep it as close to that specific time as you want, and try to be in bed by that time, right? Okay. So, second thing to have, So number one is your evening routine, trying the 3-2-1 method. So, and I'm going to give you a homework at the end of this, but I'm going to go through these 5 things, and I'll try to do it a little bit more quickly here as we go. Okay, so number 2, this is your morning routine. Keep it simple at first. If you've never had a morning routine, you've not been a morning person, cool. But keep it simple. You don't want to do something that you're going to dread, right? So the first thing you're going to do for your morning routine is going to be simple but effective. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set your alarm for 10 to 15 minutes before you typically get up. But here's the key. When you set that alarm, do not hit snooze. You get up. You get up when your alarm goes off the first time. Now, how do you do this? What is a tip that I have? So the tip that I use, I did not used to be a morning person. I wouldn't go to bed until I don't know, 1, 2 sometimes in the morning, and then I would be up at 6:30 to be at work at 8, and sometimes I had to drive 45 minutes to my job. Other times I had a smaller commute time. So, sorry. So you have to set your alarm away from where you're at. So I used a real alarm when I first started this morning routine. The reason why I started this morning routine is because I wanted to give my kids a good breakfast instead of just handing them Pop-Tarts and going out the door, right? I wanted to be able to give them a good breakfast of a morning. So in order to do that, I needed to be able to get up, have time to fix that meal, and then also be able to get myself ready for that day. So when I did that, I had to set an actual alarm clock. I used an actual alarm clock, and I set it on the opposite side of the room from my bed. So I literally had to get out of bed to go shut the alarm off. Well, now I'm up, so what's the point of going back to bed, right? So try plugging your phone in away from where you sleep, right? Away from where you literally have to get up to go and turn it off, or get an actual alarm clock and do the same thing. Okay, so that's how you get up without hitting the snooze. And you're only going to do this for 10 to 15 minutes before you actually get up, right? So the time, let's say you typically get up at 6, so now you're going to get up at 5:45 or 5:50. See what I'm saying? Okay. So then you want to hydrate when you first get up, but not with caffeine. You want to hydrate with water. Your body's mostly water anyway, so you just need to replenish that water. You've gone 6 to 8 hours without having any any fluids in your body, so you need to replenish that. And so you need to hydrate with water and not caffeine. You don't want to drink caffeine the first 30 minutes of your morning. That allows your body to get more to wake up on its own naturally. And there's a lot of scientific, I'm not a science person, so I don't do a lot of scientific stuff, but there is some scientific basis behind not having that caffeine that first thing in the morning and waiting at least 30 minutes before you have your first caffeine. So, okay, so we're going to wake up 10 to 15 minutes before we want to get up, or before we normally get up, right? And we're going to drink water, not caffeine, for the first 30 minutes, right? Then you can have your caffeine. I don't care. So this is where your self-care really kicks in, and how this gives you those extra minutes in the day. So every little extra minute adds up more and more and more and more. And I'll talk about that in a minute, kind of go over some things with that. So what do you do then in those extra 10 to 15 minutes? Well, there's several things you can do. You can do a Bible study. You can read a personal development book. You can work out. Workouts don't have to be 30 to 40 minutes. You can get an effective really good workout in that's only 10 to 15, 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 15 minutes, right? You don't need or have to do the 30-minute workout. Okay. You could read, you can journal. So take a few minutes to write down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. You can plan out your day. So you get your planner out and you're like, okay, what are the things that are already set for today? What are the things that I need to accomplish today that are not like your to-do list, right? So plan out your day, what needs to be accomplished, what are the things that you already have scheduled, those things. You could do, you could pray, or you could do a Bible study. So this is your time. You are free to do with it what you want. It is your time. The only thing you cannot do is go back to bed. So you have to do something productive, empowering, that's going to make you feel the way you want to feel in the morning, right? So, okay, so your first thing is your evening routine, your morning routine. Number 3, take a break in the middle of the day. That seems kind of, okay, well, I take a lunch every day. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about taking a break. And this isn't, I mean, it can be the same as your lunch break. Some people eat at their desk, but you really want to just kind of just take a break. This is a small 3 to 5 minute break that is just for you. It doesn't have to be very long. Just a 3 to 5 minute break, could even be 1 to 2 minutes, right? And it's more than just going down the hall to the restroom. Okay, you're literally taking a break and you're recomposing, right? If you sit at your desk, if you sit behind a desk all day, stand up and walk around. That's all you have to do. Just stand up, kind of walk around, get your body moving, get the blood flowing back into you. Do some breathing exercises. So I will drop, I can, if you want to know more about some breathing exercises, I can help you with that. But do a little, just breathe. Deep breath in, slowly let it out. Just breathe. It's that simple. And let's see. If you, let's see. Okay, where am I? Okay. If you are sitting at your desk all the time, stand up. Do some, just kind of bend down, touch your toes, or just if you can't reach all the way to your toes, just kind of just bend over and just kind of stretch out your back, stretch out your hamstrings, your calves. Just kind of do some light stretching, some kind of movement in that 3 to 5 minute time. And if at all possible, go outside and get a bit of fresh air. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, breathing in that freshness and getting some vitamin D on your skin. So you've got your evening routine, your morning routine, and taking a break in the middle of the day. Those are 3 things you can do right now. The 4th thing is drink water. So everybody wants to know, like, well, how much water should a person drink? All the research that I have done, it says that you should drink half your body weight in ounces of water throughout the day. So water's pretty much all I drink. I have a shake in the morning. It's a protein shake that I do drink, which is what I was drinking just a second ago. And then I have my Energize, my pre-workout that I drink in the morning as well. But then the rest of the time is water. Now, I will occasionally drink some tea with my lunch, but most of the time it is water that I'm drinking. I will flavor it a little bit, sometimes with some, throwing some fruit in there, some strawberries, whatever, but because I don't, or I'll do electrolyte water. So I use LMNT electrolytes. It's basically flavored salt. And it has a lot of the magnesium, potassium, all those things that you need to replenish your body, especially if you're working out. So how much water you drink is really kind of up to you. But that's the rule, that you want to at least strive for half your body weight in water. So for me, that's about 50 ounces a day. Do I get that every day? Probably not. Because I only drink when I'm thirsty most of the time, but I do try to drink as much as I can of water. And since that's typically all I drink, I probably do get that 50 ounces in. I don't track it. I don't like, I've only had 48. I need 2 more ounces or whatever. I really don't know what I drink. I don't track it. But that doesn't mean that you can't. You can track how much water you drink, especially if you don't drink water enough and you want to see, okay, how much water do I drink and how much more water should I drink and how much better do I feel when I drink water? You can track that. Okay. Evening routine, morning routine, take a break in the middle of the day, drink water. And number 5, this was probably my personal most important, what I feel like everybody should be doing all the time. And that is to set a mindset practice, because it is more, if you want to be more intentional, more productive in your day or morning, setting all the alarms, goals, and lists that you want without mindset in your day, you're still going to be off. Mindset sets the tone for the day and can be an encouragement to level up while leaving you ready to take on the day. So the best way that I have found personally for me to get my mindset in is an app that I use called Growth Day. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I can send you a link for Growth Day. There are 2 options on Growth Day. It's either $29 a month for the basic, or $49 for the full access to that app. So I can send you that if you are in that. I'm going to leave a link here. Either if you're watching this on email, there will be a link in the email. If you're in my bod group, it will be in the notes section, or it'll be in the bod group. If you're on my Instagram, it will, I will, just hit growth, just send me a Growth Day and I will send you the link for that. It's the best thing that I've added into my morning routine, and I listen to it as I get ready for the day. So it doesn't really take that much time, right, to do this, to do Growth Day. They have what's called a daily fire, and it's anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. So sometimes I'll listen for part of it as I'm getting ready, and then the rest of it on my commute to work. I also listen to a podcast on my commute to work. So there's lots of different ways to get in that mindset practice without having to add anything extra to your day. Okay, so those are the 5 things that you can start doing today to help you with your day. This one is a little bit longer than I intended to, so I apologize for that. So for your homework today, and I want you to message me or put in the comments, whatever your homework for today, tell me what your evening routine is. Tell me what your evening routine is. And let's see if there's some ways that we can maybe tweak it so that you have a better morning. And if you don't have an evening routine, how are you going to set one up? What's that going to look like? What do you want to accomplish in the evening so that you have a good morning routine? So that's your homework for today. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about why setting up a morning routine. So tomorrow's not going to be as long as it is today, so I do apologize for that. I'm leaving this group open for 7 days because it is a holiday tomorrow. I don't have to work, but okay, so I'm sending this. I'm doing this on Sunday, but I'm sending this tomorrow. Okay, so Monday being Memorial Day, then I'm going to post this. If you're listening to it on Monday, great. If you're waiting until Tuesday, that's fine too. So that's why this one's a little bit longer, but I'm going to leave this group open for 7 days. So you can always go back to this to kind of start afresh, right? So your homework tonight, let's do number 1. So number 1 is that night routine. So tell me what your evening routine looks like. Tell me what you do in the evening to prepare yourself for that good night's sleep. And if you don't do anything and you just go to bed whenever you're tired, that's what I used to do. Go to bed whenever I was tired. Couldn't go to bed unless I was ready to fall asleep, and still struggled to go to sleep, right? So I have an evening routine that I am incorporating now that has been a game changer to my evenings and also my mornings. So, okay, I'm rambling. Homework. Do your homework. Tell me about it. In the comments, you can do your homework at any time, right? You don't have to wait until the evening or whatever. Just tell me what your evening routine looks like and what you're going to do. And then tomorrow we will talk about why have a morning routine and kind of breaking down some of those I'm not a morning person type barriers on how to get that, how to become a more of a morning person. So I will see you tomorrow.